presence of nerves, that rigid tension which mechanizes your movements, obstructing the natural fluidity that separates sport from reality, if only for the briefest of moments, striking you just as the opponent gazes across the net before initiating his service motion. These nerves are always accompanied by the arrival of impending opportunity. Never ignore this unconditional association. Refuse to submit under the weight of its negative connotations. Take a deep breath. Exhale and embrace the opportunity, not merely to attain glory, but to do so with grace. Oh, and one last thing. Stop getting caught up behind the baseline. Take the ball on the rise.
Are you going to join your friends? They seem to be leaving you behind. Has your indecisiveness gotten you lost just now?
No, there's a distinct direction here. Though because they go that way and you this way, the nature of that direction appears to be entirely dependent on these next moments. With then, I'll end up alone, with you probably lost in regret someday. Only walking the middle will do, I suppose, while I lie in hopeful anticipation for the necessary negation.
Okay, I see. You seem to think you'll find the most company in the middle, make the most of both sides of the opposition, and find yourself merely in the appeasement of others. It's impossible, I hope you know. You're being self-isolating.
You're right, I am. It's not as you say it is, though. It is in such isolation that I find some derivation of meaning. Only there am I either embraced by a forgiving sense of relativism, or devastated against the shortcomings of my consciousness, which attacks its own flaws and a destructive process. From within, that is. Either way, I've discerned value in this. The process of self-determination. No outside perspectives obscuring history, conforming my past actions to some generalizing structure, all this before subsequent judgment. So yes, correct in observing my self-inflicted isolationism.
But what if in choosing both, you receive neither? Maybe it can be better explained as a longing to be the selected, rather than bearing the burden of making a commitment yourself that supports you in the abuse of both, without responsibility or restriction of your various appetites.
Coming across an original idea is just so rare. I'd like to think it's possible, but experience tells me otherwise. Discussing the ideas of others remains easy, a painless exercise, but our own thought, the extraordinary thought that arises from individualized deduction, instills a sense of vulnerability that is simultaneously crushing and euphoric.
So are you telling me you don't find much sense in this process? No meaning amidst the rational lessons inherently revealed through this method of trial and error? Isn't the distinction between a truth and a lie merely arbitrary at this point?
No. Trial and error is the enduring source of spontaneity, one of the few structures that correlates instinct with meditation. Either one, sequestered from the other, remains feeble when applied exclusively. As for making a distinction between truths and lies, what's offensive is not their lying. One can always forgive lying, for lies eventually lead to truth. What's most offensive is the distasteful worship of their own lying. We are trained as members in the common discourse, expertly armed to engage in the discussion of past suppositions, never with any ingenuity. Our individuality seems to be nothing but an assortment of others' thoughts. We determined our own being through both the conscious and unconscious gathering of various preconceived ideas, mingled with the dismissal of others. The rare moments in which we think for ourselves appear to the mind as a mere accident, almost the result of divine intervention, which briefly, and only by chance, delivers certain notions to the forefront of our attention.
Well, I am unable to determine whether this apathetic view of history deserves admiration, or if it's just a means to construct a facade, the attempt to mask your doubts with an unassuming open-mindedness. Regardless, I can't help but be caught up in its arrogance.